Today, we're interviewing Heidi Garrett with the United Nations Association of Greater Kansas City. Hi, Heidi.
Hello, Bob.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background, how you became interested in environmental and climate issues?
Yes, certainly. I'm currently the president of the United Nations Association of Greater Kansas City, but I first became interested in environmental and climate issues several years back, whenever I was in high school and in college. In high school, it was a topic that we would center a lot of debates around, and I was in debate at that time. In college, I began working on the Clinton-Gore campaign, and that was part of their running platform was around different points in regard to the environment and climate issues. And at that time, I really became more interested in climate and the environment, and that led me to do further research on my own. I've done a lot of various projects for the environment, along with a kayaking group that I'm in, such as River Cleanup. And then I became a member in UNA USA, which is our national organization, and UNA GKC, the United Nations Association of Greater Kansas City, in 2018. And that sparked my interest more into, in particular, the work around the SDGs, in particular, Sustainable Development Goal number 13, and the work that the United Nations was doing around climate and environment issues.
So tell us more about the group, the United Nations Association of Kansas City and USA. I mean, what is the mission of those groups and how do they interact with the United Nations?
Sure. The mission of UNA GKC, it's a project of the Better World Fund. It is to inform through education, to inspire and mobilize Americans and others in the greater Kansas City area to support the principles and the vital work of the United Nations through the encouragement of our elected representatives to the Congress of the United States.
That's a long mission.
Yes, so that's actually our mission statement. And some of the things that we do in particular is that we will organize events around the Sustainable Development Goals. And we will raise public awareness to support the UN and to advocate that the US Congress provide full funding for the UN and its agencies. And our members will do things such as organize visits with members of Congress to ask for their support of the UN and programs that impact their constituents. With events and programs, we organize programs that educate the public about, in particular, the Sustainable Development Goals. And the SDGs, which were adopted by the UN member countries in 2015, act as a to-do list for the world to achieve by the year 2030. And these 17 SDGs are designed to advance human rights and protect the planet. So our programs highlight the ways that the UN and other agencies are working to advance the SDGs, as well as how these issues affect the local Kansas City area in particular. So most of our events are free, or we ask for a small donation.
So it sounds like you're doing a lot of citizens lobbying. You know, you're talking to our representatives.
Yes, sometimes we do that. We have a particular day that we will actually organize along with UNA USA, a leadership summit where we can go to Washington, D.C. And meet with members of Congress in an organized meeting. We can attend that virtually or we can go in person.
So going to Washington, D.C., great. Do you also lobby at the city levels?
Yes, we will lobby with our local and our state officials, but we're doing continual work really around advocacy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds great. And that's something very important. What brought you and the United Nations Association to the Climate Council?
Well, the reason that we wanted to connect with the Climate Council, I actually attended and participated in your event last year for Earth Day. And so that's kind of what brought us to the Climate Council. We were just wanted to connect and partner with a group of like-minded organizations to develop more partnerships and highlighting the work of the UN, in particular around SDG number 13, the Sustainable Development Goal number 13. It calls for urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. And so it's intrinsically linked to all 16 of the other goals of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And to address climate change, countries adopted the Paris Agreement to limit global temperatures rise to well below the 2 degrees Celsius level. So that is one of the reasons I just wanted to partner. And, you know, I was very interested in what we would be doing this year for Earth Day. I know we really enjoyed last year and what we did for Earth Day there, hosting a film.
Thank you. And very happy to have you with the group. I mean, I think the UN, United Nations work is obviously very important, and the Sustainable Development Goals themselves are very important and concise and informational. So I'm looking forward to helping you get that information out. So what about your future plans? Any vision of what's going to happen down the road for either yourself or the association?
I think for us, we just want to continue to partner. We want to continue to do more work around all of the SDGs, in particular for climate change. I think we were looking at partnering with another organization to do some river cleanup. That is something that I've taken part in. We were also looking at maybe some water events and clean, you know, hosting some events that would center around clean water as well. So those are some of the particular plans that we have as far as events over the next year.